Hi there. I'm Matt Leger. I'm a media and production specialist and principal consultant, also the founder of Maple Grove Productions. I have over 20 years of L&D experience, and I had a thought today to make a video like this to share some of the services that I believe the community could benefit from. I just had a meeting with a client that was very interesting, and the thought occurred to me that a coaching service may be something that folks are interested in, especially as more of us are working from home and we're presenting online virtually. Uh, there is an opportunity there to share some of the expertise of people that have been in the industry, such as myself, for a long time, to help presenters get to where they need to be or where they would like to be. The client that I met with earlier today he knows his stuff and he's very good at what he does, but he's a new presenter and he's uncomfortable with a lot of the concepts that go along with presenting. It's not just a matter of, you know, dishing out your content and then just hoping for the best. There's a lot of things that you can and should do in preparation for your event that can really help you to be successful. And my job as a technical producer, which is one of my main gigs, is I help people to produce webinars and online events and hybrid events and virtual events, all kinds of things in that space. My job is to help them be successful in that role, or I should say one of my jobs. When I met with this client, it was clear right away that he knew his content, which didn't surprise me at all. He created it. So he has an intimate knowledge of his own content. What he doesn't know is how to convey that to an online audience. And that's where I can help him. And I believe I can help others as well. So if this is a service that you're interested in, please let me know. I'd be happy to have a consultation with you to go over all of it. But just to kind of touch on some of the concepts that we looked at together. The first thing was that he had a concern with his camera being too high. So for example, as I'm doing this, you're seeing that first of all, there's a reflection there, right? And these are anti-reflective lenses, so waste of money. But every time I look up like this, it's causing a reflection and a distraction, right? Also, you probably just saw the lights, breaking some of my own rules here. Those lights in the background are a no-no. This is just out of convenience for my particular setup, and I try to work with the environment and the particular equipment setup that each presenter has, because everyone's unique and everyone's environment is unique, and you have to work with what you have. Ideally here, I wouldn't have lights in the background. That's quite distracting and kind of a faux pas. But that aside, eye level is an important thing, and that was something that my client was concerned about, is that he was also wearing glasses. I didn't notice a reflection, but he was concerned that every time he looked up at the camera, it would kind of break eye contact, if you will. His pet peeve is that he doesn't like when he's in a video call with people and they're not looking at the camera, because it's kind of like being rude. If it was the equivalent of being in person with someone, it'd be like the equivalent of sort of looking around and not being focused on the person that's speaking. So I can relate with that. But it was quite high. So the first thing we did was work on lowering the camera. And then I also advise him to try to raise your laptop up a little bit. So he's on a laptop like I am. And for me, I've got a tuner here that I kind of use as a table. And I put my laptop on top of that, which happens to bring it up to just the right eye level. My webcam is integrated here into the laptop screen. And when I raise it up that way, it puts it exactly at eye level. Now you'll notice that there's some buffer space on the top, on the sides. This could be a video for another day, whole other topic on its own, but those are the kind of things that we'll look at. Are you centered in the frame? How's your audio? How's your connection today? Have you done a speed test lately? Have you reset your router and your modem recently? Have you refreshed your computer? Have you rebooted? Those are all things that we look at, and this is done not only on the day of, but in preparation. So a week before, sometimes a month before, a couple days before, and certainly during the pre-conference time. Now, I don't want to get off on a tangent on webinar production here, but the way that typically webinars are delivered is you'll have a pre-conference before the live event, and that's just for the organizers and key stakeholders to get together and go over any last minute items together, look at any content changes, any change orders that may have come in, practice anything last second, you name it. That's what that time is for. So, you really have to be thorough with this in order to have a successful content delivery. Now, on that topic, and something that I let my clients know right from the get-go, my job as a producer is to ensure that the presenter delivers their content successfully. So if they're successful in their role, that means I did a good job as well. So I often say that my job is to help others shine. And that's really what I want to do in testing and being the tech guy. The presenter does not need to worry and focus on technical stuff, right? They've got enough on their plate. They're probably very nervous before the presentation. They don't need to worry about what's going on in the background. I can't, there's 10 messages coming in. I can't hear, there's audio issues. I can't get connected. Maybe there's a few emails that have come in from folks that are having trouble getting in. That is not the presenter's concern. Those things should all be offloaded in a perfect world to the presenter or to the dedicated technical support person, so that the presenter rather can focus exclusively on their content. That's really my main job as a producer, as a moderator, as a host, as an organizer, as a technical support, is to make sure that presenter can deliver their content and focus only on that. Leave everything else up to me and the rest of the team to take care of, so that you can focus entirely on your presentation. So that's the main reason why you would want to have a technical producer with you, or at the very least, someone that's technically apt to, be your backup buddy. As far as presenter technical tips and tricks and best practices and coaching, I can't offer this service enough, because it really saddens me when I'm on a webinar and the presenter is sort of fumbling around with their equipment, and they're scattered, and they've got something over here and another thing over here, and it's all, that could have easily been solved, pre-production with a technical producer. There's really no reason for that, and it really does sadden me when I see that, because it's something that's could so easily be changed and addressed before it becomes a problem. Some other stuff that we looked at together, my client and I, were the positioning not only of the laptop, right? The laptop also needs to be, accessible to you. So for example, for me, my laptop is too far away. So I needed to add another USB keyboard in front of that, so that my hands could be at a comfortable distance here, because the laptop is sort of far away from me. So those are things to consider. Is your mouse nearby? Is it going to get caught on anything or bump into anything? They seem like basic rudimentary things, but all stuff that you need to consider and head off before they become a bigger problem during your live presentation. This is why we have orientations. This is why we have technical rehearsals, full dress rehearsals. It's to address all these things ahead of time. And this all lends itself to just having a more successful webinar, training, whatever you're doing. Town hall, even, like anything. Any sort of virtual event, there should be some element of preparation, unless you want it to be more live in nature, which, okay, there could be some occasions where that might be the case. But in all likelihood, a 1 hour rehearsal, even a half hour, 15-minute rehearsal, if everybody knows their stuff, a quick check-in, that's all you need, just to make sure that you've covered all your bases. We also looked at external monitors. That's a big factor that you want to take in. Many of us, if not all of us at this point in this space, have external monitors. I remember a time when I was only on one laptop screen, and I don't know how I got by doing what I did. This is 10, 15 years ago, but still, it's amazing that I was able to get anything done, because now I can hardly get everything I need to do done with 3 screens. So, but in this case, my client only had one, or I'm sorry, he had 2 additional screens as well, but one of them was not working. So that was something that we looked at together. How to extend your display to multiple monitors, because it's insanely valuable to have a dedicated presentation screen. And that's one thing we talked about as well. I've got a 4K monitor over here on my right that is my main dedicated presentation screen. And why that's important is that I'm 110% sure that whatever pops up on this screen is what I want to share with the audience. You don't want to risk having a pop-up or a notification or an email comes up, or folks often forget to consider things like their bookmarks or what's open in their toolbar. Conferencing applications also will have, generally like Zoom or GoTo, they'll have a clean share option. And clean share means that it will share everything on your screen except for things like your background, which may be inappropriate for some. It'll hide your toolbar. It'll hide any pop-ups that come up on the screen. So those are things that you can easily do to head those off before they become a bigger problem. There's nothing worse than having stuff inadvertently pop up on your screen in the middle of a presentation. That's not not ideal by any means. The other thing you can do is share just the application, right? I don't like to do this myself because I like to bring things sort of in and out of the scene. But what you can do also is share just your PowerPoint. If you're doing a PowerPoint presentation, you can just share that application only, and then you're sure that nothing's going to accidentally pop up on the screen. These are all things that are more applicable for new presenters, or people that may be new to the platform, or people that are not used to delivering content online. Maybe they were in person, sort of brick and mortar presenters, and now they have to switch and pivot to doing stuff online. That's a huge change. And that's where we can come in with our coaching services and really help people to bring their presentation back to where it was in the live environment, and sort of translate as much as we possibly can to the online experience as well. Display position is an important thing to consider, because if you're often looking over here at the screen, you could tell also that it messes with my microphone if my voice is being projected that way. So all things to consider. There's of course a lot more to consider that goes into it, but this is why it takes many hours of preparation to successfully deliver a 1-hour webinar. And if you're not involved in it behind the scenes, you probably won't understand why that is. But if you look at all the great examples of successful webinar productions out there, especially the ones that do a regular series, they really identify very quickly what's not working, fix it, and then the whole series benefits from that point on. And this is an ongoing process of just tweaking things as you go and fine-tuning them. And then next thing you know, you've got an excellent webinar production, a successful training, and one that really has a higher impact and a way higher retention. That's a huge factor in successful webinar training delivery, is how much did your audience actually retain from all that. And that's done through successful presentations and lack of technical issues, yes, and hitting things off ahead of time, like I was saying, but also engaging your audience. That's a huge part of it. There needs to be some engagement activities. There needs to be a back and forth with the audience. If it's a one-way delivery, there may be some small examples of why that might be appropriate, or when that might be appropriate. But in reality, nobody wants to sit there and be lectured to for an hour. So there has to be some sort of interaction. There has to be a back and forth with the audience, whether it's a chat, some polls, something. And engagement is something that we can also help presenters with, and we do quite a lot of that. Now, just to touch on the producer role a little bit as well before we end, The producer will also act as a moderator and a host. They should, or they can. For myself here, I have a webinar starting in just less than an hour here. And my role in this particular one is to, not only do the technical stuff, but also to help greet the audience, welcome everyone into the room, handle all the technical stuff behind the scenes, help to answer questions, read the questions out loud to the presenter. And again, this is something that the presenter, they can do, but it's just going to add more pressure and more to their plate that they probably already have. So they need to lean more on the producer, which is where I'm coming in. Sharing links in the chat, engagement activities. We've got a couple of polls. So I'll help to launch those and close them, share the results with the audience. My role for this particular one is not as heavy in during the live event. They're delivering their content at that point, and I'm just kind of staying in the background and monitoring what's happening, helping people with any technical issues or audio issues, connection issues, that sort of thing. But when they're done, let's say towards Q2 at the bottom of the hour, we'll do a Q&A, and I will definitely help with that part as well. The other thing the producer will do is we'll close. You generally want to have a warm open and a warm close, and that's where someone, can come in and help to deliver the rest of the webinar at the end, so that it's not just a close at the end, a cold close. There are a number of other things that a technical producer can help you with, but hopefully that gives you an idea of what these presentation coaching sessions can do. We also do training for producers, for technical producers. If you want to get a technical producer trained up and skilled up on your team and not have to outsource for that sort of thing, we do that as well. And anything really in the media and production space, anything in L&D, e-learning, the LMS world, HCM, you name it, we do it. And if we can't do it ourselves, which is quite rare, we've got a huge network of people from across the world that can help us with things that we can't do. So we can connect you with the right people. So let me know if that's of any interest to you. I honestly think in this day and age, with everybody, a lot of us anyway, being online, working from home, that presenters could use a good coaching session, even if it's a one and done, to get some tips and tricks. Let us know. We'd be happy to meet with you and to go over all that. It's been a pleasure speaking with you. I hope you got something from it. And let me know in the comments your feedback. I'd love to hear what you think. And if you have any questions, of course, let me know, and I'll do my best to answer those as well. Enjoy the rest of your day. Take care, and talk to you soon.